So I couldn't find this good, healthy food that I was searching for, so I decided, why not look in the dumpster? And the reason being is I was just trying to decrease my impact on the environment. Food in the dumpster has already been created, all the water that's been used has already been used, and so eating out of the dumpster, surprisingly, is kind of an environmentally friendly thing to do, I figured out. So because of that, on this 4,700-mile bike ride across America, 70% of my diet for 104 days came from dumpsters, to the tune of about 300 pounds of food I ate out of grocery store dumpsters in about 20 states across America cycling. So I saw firsthand how much food was being thrown away, and the crazy thing was, it was just dumpster after dumpster after dumpster that I opened was filled to the brim with perfectly good food. We're talking about literally opening up a dumpster and not even having to climb in to be able to reach a bounty like this a lot of times. So that was my first experience with food waste. I did a lot of learning and researching over the next year, and then a second time I decided to bike across the country. And this time, from Madison, Wisconsin to New York City, I ate not a single item that didn't come from a dumpster, except this brownie this lady kind of forced on me and the occasional sprig of herbs. But, so during that time, from Madison, Wisconsin to New York City, I started to host these, which are food waste fiascos. Because there's all these myths about food waste in America. A lot of people assume, well, it must not, you know, okay, maybe we're wasting food, but it can't be like good quality food. There's no way that it's still good. And so here's what I can show you. I laid out a bunch of things up here that are in packages that are just absolute no-brainers. Take vitamin water, for example. Still in the 6-packs. Obviously, that's not going to go bad. Take it to another extreme, bottled water. I find that sort of thing constantly. And fruits and vegetables are something that obviously they go bad sometimes. But as you can see, a lot of these fruits and vegetables, most of these are perfect vegetables that just about any one of us would have bought at the store. And a lot of this is just bags full right in the dumpsters. So, for example here, this is all this good quality bread you see, that's all one night of bread from one bakery. And this amount of fruits and vegetables is a fraction of what a lot of grocery stores throw away in one day. So, leaving the whole dumpster aspect aside, the fact that maybe it's a little nasty that me and my friends were in the dumpsters to bring this to you, the point is that none of this should ever be placed in the dumpster in the first place. What we're trying to do is get more grocery stores to donate their food to nonprofits. And so there's some really good news. In my 2 bike rides across the country, I kept hearing people say things like, oh, well, the grocery stores can't donate this food because they'll get sued if somebody gets sick. And I hear all sorts, like, that's people's instant responses, and for a long time I bought into it. I'm thinking, well, that's what everybody's saying, so it's got to be true. And even after an entire year of doing this, it took a year for me to learn about the Good Samaritan Food Act, which was passed in 1996, and actually protects grocery stores from liability. So, if I was a grocery store and I donated this apple to a nonprofit, if someone got sick, I would not be sued. The law protects them. It's the Bill Emerson Good Samaritan Food Act. So that's what I started to tell people, but then people still said, well, this is America. This is a sue-happy country. People will sue you anyway. So I thought, all right, that must be true. There must be all these lawsuits, because there's got to be a good reason for this. And then I found a 2013 University of Arkansas study that shows that not a single restaurant, grocery store, catering program that's ever donated anything to any nonprofit has ever been sued. So it's not a worry in the world, basically. And the really good news is that there's thousands of grocery stores that are already donating food to nonprofits. So, to give you an example, Walmart's kind of one of the big bad meanings in a lot of our minds, for example. But Walmart donates pretty much, at every Walmart they have a donation program, and the food they don't donate, they actually compost. So if Walmart can do it across America, then I don't see any reason why just about any grocery store can't do it. And then the other good news is that there's nonprofits all across America that are willing to pick up this food from the grocery stores and get it to the people that need it. There's food rescue programs all across America who will come pick it up. Right here in San Diego, there's Feeding America. It's San Diego Feeding America. Feeding America is all across the nation. It's probably the largest food rescue program there is. Here in San Diego alone, Feeding America rescues 1 million pounds of food per month from grocery stores. Now, they're not going to the dumpsters, and that's the whole point. This food should never be in the dumpsters in the first place. They have programs with the grocery stores where they actually come and pick it up and then deliver it to food banks and food pantries and soup kitchens. So Feeding America San Diego works with about 160 grocery stores in San Diego. Now there's 450 grocery stores in San Diego total, so they're only working with about a third. So there's a lot of room for improvement. There's also Donate, Don't Dump, which is in Encinitas, and they do food rescue in the North County area as well. So in San Diego alone, Feeding America rescues over 12 million pounds per year and feeds it to people in need. But imagine that there's probably at least 24 million pounds that are being thrown away at the very least. So a lot more can be done. So if you want to be a part of the solution in San Diego, Feeding America is actually really awesome. When I first learned about them, I thought, okay, nationwide and nonprofit, they're probably really inefficient, they're probably not doing things in a really great way, but they're actually super efficient, and 90% of the food that they serve is food that would have otherwise gone to waste. So a couple of reasons why food waste matters. Simply, there's 50 million Americans who are food insecure. So of the 319 million Americans, almost about 50 million, or 1 in 7 Americans is food insecure. A lot of people's response to that is get a job. But a large percentage of that is elders who are past their working age and they might be stuck in their apartment. And a huge portion of that is kids. Believe it or not, in San Diego, 1 in 4 children are food insecure in the city of San Diego. Hard to believe that when you look around you. So it's not people that are just lazy by any means that aren't eating. There's so many people that could use this nutritious food. And as you can see, it's pretty nutritious food. It's mostly fruits and vegetables, good quality whole grain bread. But you do find junk too in the dumpster. So if anybody is getting ideas from this and wants to get out in the dumpsters, you can find just about anything you want. So if you're like more in the mood for pizzas or cakes or even still frozen ice cream, that stuff you will find. Or if you want to eat healthy, you can do that too. So I'm guessing some people might have some questions about what's going on. I'll tell you one more thing. Almost half of all the food produced in America is thrown away. So we actually produce enough food in America to feed between 500 and 600 million Americans when we've got only 320. So some people ask, why isn't this food donated? Which I covered. But we produce more food than we could possibly eat in this country. We produce enough food to feed 2 Americas. So even if we donated it all, they'd have to throw a ton of it away. We need to increase donations, but the first and foremost thing we need to do is just not produce food if we're not going to eat it. Just really simply eat the food that we're going to produce. And as people here who care about the environment, I'm guessing, there's a huge environmental impact. Just the food that we grow in America that goes to waste uses enough water to meet the demands of every single American for their water usage. So that is how much water we're wasting just on the food we throw away. In San Diego, one of the number one reasons that we're in a drought is because of food. All of this takes a ton of water to grow, not to mention in our industrial agriculture system, all of this has fossil fuels used to produce it because of the fields and how that's done. So when you waste food, you're wasting fossil fuels, electricity, water, time, and another huge one is land. We waste enough food worldwide to feed 1 billion people. Now imagine all the land that's used, and a lot of our land that's used to raise food right now, like our soybean and corns, is deforestation of places like the Amazon. So we're literally chopping down forests to throw apples in a dumpster. Or a lot of the times what we're doing is we're chopping down forests to create soybean to feed cows, to throw the cows in the dumpster. It goes that far. And on top of that, the seafood industry is another one that's extremely wasteful. If you eat a pound of shrimp, you're wasting 24 pounds of fish. That's how much fish is killed to get that 1 pound of shrimp to the table. So, huge environmental impact. The good news is we have all the food we need in America. All we need to do is start eating it, and we can solve a huge problem, hunger, while solving a giant environmental issue at the same time. And the solutions are all there, and the nonprofits are there, the law is there to a large extent. It just comes down to, really, what I think, us talking to the grocery stores. Every one of us probably goes to the grocery store on occasion. Next time you're there, go to the manager and say, hey, do you guys donate all of your extra food, your excess food, or do you throw it away? They'll probably lie to you, regardless, but at least you'll have planted a seed in their head. And maybe they won't. Maybe if they do throw it away, maybe they won't lie to you, because a lot of the people at the grocery store are just sad, because they don't want to throw away food either. A lot of the people who work at grocery store know people who are hungry, and it's a living hell for them to be dumping this food out every single day. A lot of them think there is no answer, but the answer's there, they just don't have the information. So if you want to be a part of the solution, the hashtag is donate not dump. You can tweet that at grocery stores, you can send them an email. If you go to robgreenfield.tv/food waste, that has all this information that I've just given to you, and you can just forward that to grocery stores. But really just go in there and talk to the grocery stores, let them know you care, because grocery stores are in operation for one thing primarily, and that's to make money. So if they see that we care and that we won't shop there if they keep throwing this food away, they're liable to do something. Now, what you see here is all food from grocery store dumpsters. But the truth is that this giant iceberg is a tip of the iceberg of food waste. And where you get the huge amount of food waste is grocery stores rejecting food. Grocery stores rejecting food before it ever gets to them because of the shape, color, or size. How many of you have ever seen a massive sweet potato at the grocery store? Like that big? A little bit. The reason you don't see that much is because the little ones make it to the grocery store and the rest often rot in the field. So take those bananas for example. Grocery stores have an exact curvature of what bananas they'll accept. So if that thing doesn't have the right curve, we're talking about billions of pounds of food being rejected at the farm. And the grocery stores don't take responsibility for that. That goes on the farmer. So it actually goes past the grocery store, but that's another thing that we can tell grocery stores to do, is tell them we want them to stop ugly fruit. Or they can use it to make things like juices, which then people don't have to see the ugly stuff. But next time you go to a grocery store and you see everything looking pristine, remember that the reason it's pristine is because everything that doesn't look perfect is either in the dumpster, rotting at the field, or been transported to a landfill. Some of it is fed to cows and things like that, so some of it does go to use. But in California alone, there's at least 3 billion pounds of food that never make it to the grocery store just because it's not the right shape, color, and size. So again, this, what you see in the grocery store dumpsters, is the absolute tippy tip of the iceberg of food waste. It's like this tiny bite of an apple. That's it.